Dan Illman, Mike Beer, the DRF Bets race of the day for Thanksgiving Day. And happy Thanksgiving to everybody. We hope you have a happy and safe Turkey Day. Race number 7 at the Big A. It's the Grade 3 Fall Highweight Handicap, 3/4 of a mile for some nice sprinters. Before we get to the analysis, remember, it's DRF's Black Friday week of sales. You get to save big on DRF's hottest handicapping tools. Head on over to shop.drf.com for all of the details. Let's take a look at the field for the Grade 3 Fall Highweight. You can download free formulator past performances for this race on the Race of the Day event page at drf.com. Access them, handicap along with us. I'm curious to see how Timeform US projects the pace of this race. We'll take a look at the Timeform US pace projector. I'm not sure I agree with the blue bar, which kind of indicates, yes, it might favor horses on or near the early lead, but it has that sort of insinuation that the pace will be slow. When you have horses like Recruiting Ready and Strike Power and some of the others in here, it's hard to imagine the pace being slow.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think they have it right that those two horses are going to be up there on the lead and probably together. They're both really fast and they're at their best when they can make the front. So we'll see how hard they go at each other. Dan, I'm with you. I think it's going to be a little bit faster than pace projector thinks.
Several of these horses are cross-entered in the Fabulous Strike Stakes on Wednesday, including the morning line favorite, the 2 Firenze Fire, who is expected to scratch out of the Fall Highweight and run in the Fabulous Strike. This pace projector will update on Thanksgiving once scratches are announced, so head on back to timeformus.com for the updated pace projector after the changes are announced. Here's the field in post-position order. Let's talk about him, beginning with the number 1, No Distortion. He won for 40 last time out for Bob Dunham. He's a very honest horse. We're going to watch his most recent race. He was too much for these. He's on the far outside right now, and he just runs past them. But he is taking a humongous step up in class here.
It just seems like a race he probably can't win. And this was a nice performance for this horse. He got steadied, put in tight and steadied pretty hard early in this race and lost a lot of position. He made a big run. You can see the way he finishes this race off. This was a really good performance for this horse. I don't know if it's Fall Highway good, but he ran well in there. And Bob Dunham very quietly sending out huge long shots to win races and outrun the rods the entire meet.
Firenze Fire, the number 2, is going to lug 134 if he ran in here. It appears the Jason Service will run him in the Fabulous Strike. So we'll move on to the 3, Wonderful Light, going out for trainer Michelle Nevin. And this horse figured last time out in the Chaladon Stakes. And we're going to take a look at this race from Laurel. He's down inside. He was contesting the pace. We see he's very, very late to change leads down on the rail. While visually this is a disappointing performance at 4-5, I think maybe you could make some excuses in that perhaps he was a little bit too aggressively ridden, and B, I'm not sure the inside was the place to be at Laurel on this day.
Yeah, I think there are some excuses. This is not his best performance by any stretch, but as you say, maybe being down inside wasn't good. He was dueling between horses on the turn before he wound up down there. And I'll just, I also don't think 7 furlongs is a good distance for him. I think he's way better going 6, so he gets to cut back here. Is he good enough to win a race like this? I'm not sure, Dan. Early in his career, I thought for sure he was going to be at least this good. I don't know if he's necessarily really panned out.
Recruiting Ready, the number 4, will lug 132. He'll be one of the favorites if Firenze Fire scratches as expected. 2 questions. Do you believe, A, he is a need-the-lead type? I know he has won from off the pace in the past. It just seems like he's more effective at this stage in his career when he gets his head in front early. And B, can you trust him? He runs one good race, he runs a bad race. He runs a big fig, he runs a low fig. Last time out at Churchill Downs, when you watch that race, it doesn't appear like he's going fast at all on the lead. He wins in ridden out fashion. I look up at the clock, I see 21:43 and 4. He went fast early, slow late. I don't know. I've always liked this horse a lot more than you. He's going to have to deal with Strike Power early. He could be in trouble, but on his best day, he is a major contender.
I would argue that if Firenze Fire does indeed run at Penn National, this is the horse to beat now. You're right. I don't like him as much as you do. He's very dangerous when he makes the lead. It's funny the way that you talk about his last win too, Dan, because I had the exact same reaction when I watched it. I mean, he looked like he was just kind of loose on a relatively easy pace. And then you look at the fractions, and I guess he just ran that field off their feet. I don't know. If he's going to be the favorite here, I will try to beat him, but I have no illusions about who the horse to beat is.
The number 5 is Stan the Man, coming off a little bit of a layoff. Well, more than a little bit of a layoff. We haven't seen him since basically Belmont Stakes Week, but he goes out for a really shrewd trainer in John Terranova. I trust him off layoffs. Stan the Man before the layoff was in very good form. I mean, the True North, okay, he was down towards the inside most of the way. That's where you wanted to be all week long, and he was taking on Catalina Cruiser. He was probably just a little bit overmatched. Prior to those efforts, he was running big races over wet tracks. There's a very good chance we'll have a wet track in New York on Thanksgiving. This is a horse that has figures, certainly, that are comparable to those of the main contenders in this race. My question is, do you think the distance is a little bit short for him?
Yeah, I'm a little concerned about that. I will just say that, you know, when you see the no wins going 6 and even 6.5, I will just point out that at that time when he was running those distances was a time when he just wasn't winning races for some reason, still running fast figures, but it took him forever to break his maiden. And when he finally did it, he's just gone on from there and become a really solid horse. I'm not worried about the distance for him, Dan. Off the layoff, maybe that's a little more of a concern, but I think he actually fits really well in this race.
The 6 Strike Power is going turf to dirt. You're supposed to draw a line through the turf race. You're probably supposed to draw a line through the Vanderbilt. He's not going to run with the likes of Imperial, Hint, and Matoli, 2 of the best sprinters in the world. You go back to the True North, he ran well against Catalina Cruiser, but he was also had the benefit of being on the advantageous inside. He is a very fast sprinter. I wouldn't be surprised if he's actually faster than Recruiting Ready is coming out of the gate. I'm just a little bit worried about his current form, but this is some nice class relief, and he got a freshening, I think a needed one after that last turf race.
Yeah, I'm not sure that he's good enough. I've never really been a huge fan of his. On the other hand, I do think he might be the speed of this race. He's really fast. And when you go back to the Vanderbilt two-back, obviously a race he was never going to win, but he was locked up in a duel with Matole, who's just wicked fast. So I won't be surprised if he makes the lead in here. Certainly, he makes things pretty tough on Recruiting Ready.
Lewisfield, the 7, like a few of these, cross-entered in that Fabulous Strike on Wednesday. Maybe he'll run here because Firenze Fire is expected to run in the Fabulous Strike, and he's likely to be odds-on in that Fabulous Strike. If Lewisfield runs here, he's got a chance. We'll take a look at his last race, the Maryland Million Sprint. He was held up behind a horse. He's in those teal blinkers, second from the right on your screen, and he was held up for a bit at the quarter pole. Now he's through. He's running on. He's going to finish in okay third. He might have been closer if he got clear earlier. This was his first start off a short layoff. The race before that, he was in against a very fast horse at Colonial. He does have fast races on his page. I think Lewisfield could probably work out a decent trip in this spot. I kind of like him a lot better at Penn National, even against a horse like Firenze Fire. I'm not sure this is the kind of horse that's a graded stakes kind of runner.
I worry about that too. But you know what? If he runs here, Dan, Recruiting Ready and Strike Power hook up with each other, this horse is going to be in a really good spot in this race. Actually, it's funny that you like him more in the other race. I like him more if they run him in this race.
I think that's probably, though, the conventional wisdom. You're getting away from Firenze Fire. You might get a trip in here, and you might actually get a better price. It'll be interesting to see where he goes. I like that he's working real fast at his Charlestown base. I think he's coming into this race in good form. See this quick is a little bit of an ask, Mike. I mean, he is in good form. He's going to be a gigantic price in this race. He blew a lead last time out going a mile when offered for a 62.5 tag. We'll watch that race right now. Maybe he went too fast early. He opened up a big advantage, and he's just going to get run down by a hard-hitting old veteran named Backside of the Moon. This race, again, a 94 Beyer speed figure, fastest race of his career by a large margin. I'm just not sure he can do it going 6 against some real hard hitters.
I'm not sure either. I do respect his form, though, since this trainer has taken over at the beginning of the year. He's been in the best form of his career. I don't like him in this race, Dan, but the turnback does help him.
Happy Farm is the number 9. If Firenze Fire, his uncoupled stablemate, runs in the Fabulous Strike, I'd expect Happy Farm to run here. Jason Service claimed this horse for $30,000 in March. He's run him 4 times. He's got 3 wins, including this race at Belmont on October the 10th. He had a very nice trip, I thought, in this spot. And as they turn into the stretch for Happy Farm, he's on the outside and getting ready to make his move. Happy Farm ran okay in here. He is going to be on the outside, another 90-plus Beyer speed figure. That's been the norm for him. He has good tactical speed and a nice outside attack post position. He's certainly not impossible.
No, he's not. He got a really good trip in this race. You'll note that his last 2 wins are against See This Quick and No Distortion, probably the 2 longest shots on the board in this Fall Highway. But he won those races very easily. He's clearly better than those horses. The question is he as good as some of the greatest stakes horses he's going to be meeting now?
Let's take a look at our top selections for this year's Grade 3 Fall Highweight Handicap. I'm going with Recruiting Ready. I've been fooled by him so many times in my life. Why not one more time on Thanksgiving? And then I could drown my sorrows in a giant turkey and then some ice cream afterwards and some pumpkin pie. I think maybe he breaks. He lets the 6 go. He gets to the outside, gets the jump on these horses. His last race, you and I were both surprised at how fast he went early. He is a fast horse. I'm going to go with him over Lewisfield if he runs here. 4-7-5-8. Mike, you've always liked Stan the Man. He might get the wet track he wants. Yeah. Off the layoff, what kind of trip is he going to get?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's going to get a good one, especially, I just sort of feel like Recruiting Ready and Strike Power, they have to race each other in this race. I'm hoping that happens and Stan the Man can sort of sit off it and just run one of his good races. His good race gives him a real chance in here, and he's going to be a fair price. 5-4-9-6 for Mike, 4-7-5-8 for me in the Grade 3 Fall Highweight Handicap. It is the feature race at the Big A on Thursday. Approximate post time 2:50 Eastern. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.